What's up, pack members? It's your Spirits Alpha here, and welcome to another video. So this time around, we're taking a look at the Lego Marvel Superheroes Oscorp Tower. Make sure, yeah, well, it's called Spider-Man versus Oscorp, but yeah. So yeah, Lego Spider-Man versus Oscorp. So yep, pretty cool. So this set does retail for like $140, which I think is pretty outrageous, but the set is pretty cool, I admit. So, oh yeah. Whatever the case, let's go and get started with the minifigures. So the first figure up is Spider-Man himself. And he actually doesn't come with this web piece. I actually just took it from Peter Parker's apartment for like display purposes or whatever. And I probably need to put in the other hand now I think about it. But, pretty cool. And pretty basic Spider-Man figure, same one we've been getting for a while now. Pretty nice. Next up, we have Miles Morales. This is him in his oops. This is him in his hooded outfit. This is the third time we've gotten this figure. We got him in his own mech, which I don't have, but whatever. Then we got him as an extra character in the Venom mech, which is pretty cool. And then we have him in this set. So, it's pretty nice to have Miles Morales in his like hooded outfit or in his hoodie. So pretty nice. And all that stuff. Yeah, and who doesn't love Miles? He's always cool. Next up is, pardon it, that was a speaker, my little Alexa speaker. Now, if you heard that, pardon that. But anyway, moving on, we have Ghost Spider, otherwise known as Spider Gwen. You know, same figure we've gotten for a while. I think we got her in that Spider-Man car. Oh yeah, Spider-Man car versus the like Venomized Green Goblin. I think that's what that set was called. Whatever the case, same figure, not much going on. Next up, we have Spider Woman, otherwise known as Arachne. This is the same figure that we've gotten in the Venom muscle car. So, this is another way to get her if you didn't want to buy the muscle car. Same figure. She has this, web piece that can capture villains. So, we've seen that before. And she does have two faces. She can either be happy or she can be angry. So, yeah. Anyway, that's her. Now we're moving on to the villain side of things, if you want to count two of these villains. So, first up, first time available as a figure is Norman Osborn. You know, Definitely makes sense to have him in the set since he's a big deal of Oscorp. Well, heck, it's his company, so yeah. Pretty basic figure, has the suit, which I really like, all that stuff. And he does have two faces. He can either be, pretty calm and happy, or he could be more annoyed. So, yep, pretty decent figure. Next up, also first time available as a figure, we have Eddie Brock. Now, people are disliking this figure a little bit because, they pretty much just reused Hawkeye's hairpiece from the CMF series, and they've been using this, like, this head for, excuse me, minifigure head for a while now, or most recently. So, people are not liking this, but, I think it's okay. And he does have two faces. He can either be happy or he can be angry. But what I mean by minifigure head is pretty like there's been three figures that have used this minifigure head. Him, I think they used it on a Winter Soldier figure, and they also used it for Quicksilver in that other Quinjet set, which I don't have, but I'll get it later. Yeah. But yeah, and I do like his jacket though; it's pretty nice, and I think a really good detail. As you can see, he has Venom on his back, and it's really just like a basic backpack, but gives the impression that Venom is trying to take over him or whatever. So very nice. Next figure is actually a pretty big deal one. We have Craven the Hunter. It's been a while since we've seen him, but always nice to have him back. And he has two faces as well. He can either be angry, or he can be. Oops, I need to stop dropping figures. Or he can be um, happy. So I guess let's flip. Actually, no, nah. Angry face actually suits Craven better. He's never really happy. Let's be honest. And he has this pink jewel for a reason. You'll see why when we get into a set. But whatever case, let's go and move on. Now here's actually a pretty cool figure. This is Green Goblin as a figure in the set, and now people are kind of getting on this since this version of Green Goblin is actually a good guy, and this is actually Harry Osborn as Green Goblin. But I still think it's pretty nice. And we have another one of those pumpkin bombs, like I mentioned in my last review. The flame can actually be like not. I guess I shouldn't remove it, but the flame can actually be removed and put on other figures if you like. So pretty nice. And he doesn't truly have a second face, but he does have a little bit of back head printing, which is pretty nice. So yep, pretty cool figure. And he does have a glider, but it's in the set. So yeah, Mayfair's aside, we can go and scoot them down over. And we can now move on to the real deal set. So you notice this set is actually in parts, and that's mainly because this is one of those combined sets or whatever where you can mix and match sets. So and I'll show them how I like to combine them in another video. But I just thought it'd be better just to keep them apart for now, so I can explain the video better or the future video better. So to start things off, though, we do have a motorcycle. This is for Miles Morales, of course. It has the energy in the back. I think they actually call it Venom for his energy or whatever, which is kind of interesting. And he has the two shooting like projectiles on the side. Not actually gonna shoot them, but yep. And in classic motorcycle fashion, the wheels do roll very well. You can have that if you'd like. And that's that little part. So now let's go and move on to the main set. So let's go and get this out of the way first. We have this little side section with like a traffic light and a dumpster and the newspaper that says Spider-Man No More. And now that I think about it, in my last video I actually forgot a little detail on the Peter Parker's apartment. There's that little thing right there. Forgot to mention that. But whatever. I thought I'd just fix my mistake there. You're probably gonna see it again anyway. But so as I was saying, Spider-Man No More, or the newspaper, and in the dumpster we have, uh, well, a little can, just a little pink can, basic stuff. That's pretty all there is to that. Now we're moving on to this right here, which is a combined mini mart and Eddie Brock's apartment. So not much going on the outside. You can open the door, but that's about it. On the inside, in the mini mart area, very small mini mart, not much going on. Has a little register, cashier, or whatever. But there's not really much room for play in that. Then at top A Brock's apartment, there's a lot more going on. You have the little dartboard with Spider-Man's face. You have a random chicken for whatever reason. You have the computer, which apparently has a little group chat going on, which is kind of cool, I think. And yeah, that's about it. And there's also a random camera on the side of the building. So yeah, probably associated with Peter Parker. Or if you want to think about Spider-Man 3, Eddie Brock being a photographer in that movie before he became Venom. But yep, pretty cool. And I guess we can and save this for last. So let's go ahead and move on to this part here. This is a combination of an apartment and the marvelous jewelry. So let's go ahead and get inside, open the door, and this is the inside. So marvelous jewelry actually has a pretty good bit of detail. It has the cash asterisk, as you can see, with some money, and you got the jewel or jewel case, the green one, but the other one's broken, and there's a reason why, because Craven the Hunter took that jewel. Yep, I like that little bit of detail. And there actually is a couple play features in this. I'll go and get this one at the bottom done first. Oh, little fire hydrant too. But there's actually a little lever on the side, and you can actually you press here, and the window falls. And if you can see that, there's a bunch of like broken glass all over the place. So a lot of nice little touch of detail, if you ask me. And then Then there's also another little thing right here, a little stack of Daily Bugle newspapers saying like who is Spider-Man. Yeah, pretty nice. But yeah, moving on to the apartment itself. My guess is that it's Miles Morales' apartment because it has a picture of him with like the spray paint hands, which is very nice. Trying to get it on there. Then there's the bed, a little bit unmade and untidy, which is very appropriate for Miles. And there's a little fan there too. I don't know if you can see it, but a little table fan. And yeah, there actually is a little bit of play feature here. So we actually take Miles, if you attach him to the bed, he actually does attach to the bed. If you have to kind of line it up, but you know, he attaches to the bed, and then come to the top, take off the roof or this little black roof or whatever. Oh, there it goes. You put like you put Gwen or Ghost Spider. Here, just layer on top like that. Like make sure her arms are flat. And I knocked something over. Go figure. But yep, attach that, and then there's a little knob right here. So let's see if I can actually do this and show at the same time. So you push here, and boom. Now she drops in on Miles. Very classic. But anyway, you know, very simple play feature, but very nice, if you ask me. Definitely adds a lot of like detail to this set. And yeah, I might as well just keep her in there. Oh, yep. You know, just I'm gonna be displaying the set soon anyway. And I might as well put Eddie Brock in his apartment, to be honest. Which way would it fit? Would it fit? No, he won't fit like that. There you go. That kind of works. Sorry, I'm just thinking about how I'm going to display the set when it's time. So, yep, with that, let's move these two aside and let's get on to Oscorp Tower itself. So, this is Oscorp Tower. Or definitely a really good build. Actually, pretty tall, too, so that's pretty nice. And, you know, down here, we got the little goblin override or whatever sign. But, you know, there's actually a little sliding door feature, which is very simple but very nice. And I like that they had that rather than a simple just opening up door like they've been giving us. But you know, it has the Oscorp sign, which is actually a big sticker. There's quite a bit of stickers in the set, which I'm not really a fan of, but you know, whatever. Stickers can just be a pain to put on sometimes. But anyway, moving on into the inside. The lobby itself is pretty bare. You know, you have a desk, you have the fire extinguisher. But you know, that's really all there is going on in the lobby. So not a lot going on. They could at least add a chair or something. Then up here we have the lab, which has like a brown spider, which could be the spider that bit Peter Parker. Who knows? What else we got? We have a little petri dish or whatever. Right here, it's hard to see, but there's like a little bit of DNA on the petri dish. And right here we have some more information. You know, we got the symbiote, and it has the symbiote coming alive. And here we have a syringe, which is most likely also associated with the symbiote. So, yep, nice little touch. And there's a little play feature right here. That little red button you saw in the back, press here, and it falls out. So, yep, now you can have like a little breakout scene or whatever. Let me reattach that. Attaches in pretty easily. Next up, we have, I guess this is Norman Osborn's lab. You see, we have the glider. We have another one of those pumpkin bombs. You have the goblin formula over a Bunsen burner or whatever. And, yep, the glider can be detached. I probably will detach it because I'm going to display it a little differently when it's time. But yep, that's that. Not much going on there. Then up at the top, oh, well, I didn't mean to turn around, but at the top we have just another lab. You know, we have the newspaper, which says, what does this one say? This one says Times Scare. Let's talk about the Green Goblin. And this is going to be hard to show, but, you know, there's a little, like, restricted area thing. And nice little detail with the Lego minifigure hand as the hand scanner. Pretty nice. Then on the other side, you know, not much going on, just that. There actually is a play feature for that. At least I think there was. No, no, it does not. Scratch that. Does not play feature where you can break them out. I just thought there was. I got confused for a second. Sorry. But now, there actually is a really cool play feature, though, because at top, this little, like, satellite dish pole, or whatever you call it, is actually not just for show. And actually, one second. Let me, do something real quick. We can put the figure in there. Actually, let me take that off. Hold on a second. Sorry, I get indecisive sometimes. I'll just put the pumpkin bomb there for now. But put that there. But yeah, here's the idea. You can put Norman Osborn right here. Then you spin this dish here, just twist it, and then he becomes the Green Goblin. So yeah, very simple feature, but very nice that we have a Green Goblin transformation play feature. So that's always nice. I definitely enjoy that. And like that, I just put the pumpkin bomb on this side because I don't think the pumpkin bomb would fit in him. Would not. Yeah, I don't think the pumpkin bomb would fit with him. So inside there. So yep. But very simple play feature. You just turn this and it spins, so you can pretend he's transforming to the Green Goblin or whatever. So a lot of play A value in this set, which I like. And then the other feature is this little knob on the back. Does that. But see, it moves this web piece. But it's actually pretty interesting how that works. Because if we take Spider-Man up here, actually, we can actually, well, here's the idea. We're going to actually attach him like this. Attach him on there. Come all the way up here. I guess make sure the web piece is out. Or, oh, this one. There we go. That's the right one. Well, make sure the web piece is out. Well, if you assume you have this attached, then turn the knob and now he swings. It probably looks better without the web piece on though, so let's actually take that off and try again. So here we go. You just go do it back and forth to swing him. Very nice play feature and very empowering for the kids. So yeah, and again, this is one of those rubber web pieces. It's not the like rope web piece that Lego's been giving us a lot in the past couple years, or not giving us a lot, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Classic web piece. And there's also a little section right here where if you have the Green Goblin, you can actually attach his glider to here, and then you can have, I'm knocking down the apartment, yikes. You can have him do that. Have him fight Green Goblin. So, yep, very nice. Whatever the case is, though, I think that's just about out the entire set. So overall, I think the set's really cool. I mean, $140 is pretty high, but at the same time, I think there's a lot of play value in this set, and the fact that you can combine it with the other sets is actually pretty cool. And I am going to get to that, but first things first, I gotta wrap up this video, and then tune in for the next video. We're gonna be combining all the sets that we've gotten up to this point into one. So until next time, this is Spirit the Alpha signing out. I'll see you guys back in the pack.